Tesla Model 3 in U.S. now has access to full $7,500 tax credit if leased. Tesla Model 3 in the U.S. now has access to the full $7,500 tax credit if leased. It is worth bearing in mind that with the standard purchase of the most affordable Model 3 variant, the tax credit is halved. The U.S. government recently published requirements for electric vehicles to qualify for the full tax credit on a $7,500 purchase. They went into effect on April 18 and have now significantly limited the choice of EVs that are available to consumers looking to get them at a discounted price. The list of available EVs includes some Tesla Model 3 and Model Y variants, Volkswagen ID.4, Ford F-150 Lightning, Chevy Bolt EUV, and Cadillac LYRIQ. Following the publication of the recommendations, the base Tesla Model 3 became eligible for a $3,750 tax credit, half the maximum. However, according to Bloomberg, there is one loophole that allows consumers to get the maximum credit amount of $7,500. By choosing to lease an electric vehicle instead of buying it outright, buyers can still get the full incentive because new federal regulations free leased vehicles from restrictions on where the vehicle is made, where the materials for its batteries come from, and how much money the consumer earns, the report explains. In addition to Tesla Model 3, some other electric vehicles can be bought in the same way, which is great news for consumers. In addition to receiving full tax credits, consumers also get access to lower monthly payments, free maintenance, consumables coverage, and more. However, it is also worth bearing in mind that leasing has a number of downsides for consumers, from not owning the vehicle to yearly mileage limits. Source: reposted and summarized from Eva Fox at Tasmanian. 3-row Tesla Model Y might be most underrated EV, says owner. The Tesla Model Y is the best-selling EV in the US and one of the top-selling cars in the world. Nonetheless, Tesla continues to discount it since the automaker can now build Model Y crossovers much more quickly than it can sell them. However, we'd venture to bet that the 3-row, 7-seat version of the Model Y is not the best-selling version in the lineup. Only a few 3-row EVs currently exist, and they're pricey. The Tesla Model X was the only option for years until the Model Y came along. The Rivian R1S also has 3 rows, and the upcoming Kia EV9 will join the list. That said, the Model Y is the cheapest EV on the market if you need 3 rows and 7 seats. However, Tesla has been charging $4,000 for the tiny kid-sized 3rd row, on top of the Model Y's price being quite high for the first few years it was available. With Tesla lowering the Model Y's price, the EV now being eligible for incentives, and a new $1,000 discount on the optional 3rd row. It's time to revisit whether the 7-seat Model Y is worth considering at around $53,000 before taxes, fees, and incentives. According to Fully Charged Show's U.S. correspondent, Ricky Roy, who just bought a 3-row Tesla Model Y for his family, it may be the most underrated EV. Roy believes EV shoppers could be overlooking a very compelling option. He goes so far as to say it's the most capable and well-rounded family car of any kind, but you have to make sure it will work for your family. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. Tesla Model 3 totaled new owner has surprises to share. This Tesla Model 3 owner didn't get his car in a traditional manner. This is to say he didn't buy it new from Tesla, and it wasn't in Tesla's new or pre-owned online inventory or for sale by an individual owner on the used market. Instead, Geico was selling it after declaring it a total loss. Tesla owner Winston found the Model 3 at a wrecking yard and bought it from Geico at auction for the top bid of just $15,000. His plan was to rebuild the car himself at home in his garage. Even if it cost him as much as the totaled car itself, he'd still be saving money. Winston, who's just 18 years old, wanted to build his family the cheapest Model 3 in the US. While Tesla continues to lower its prices, a new Model 3 is still at least $40,000, and that gets you the single-motor rear-wheel drive base model with 272 miles of EPA estimated range. Winston's 2018 Tesla Model 3 long range had been in a crash and was considered a total loss, but he had no idea what actually happened. After he took the time to completely rebuild the EV, he plugged in a USB drive to get the data stored on the Model 3's built-in computer. Since Tesla's vehicles have standard dash cams and the camera-based Sentry Mode security system, they record footage from multiple cameras, which can be viewed later. Thanks to the technology, Winston discovered some surprises to share. As you'll see in the saved footage, the Model 3's former owner was driving it when a car appeared on the right, which resulted in a T-bone collision. Even though there was plenty of visible damage and Geico called it a total, Winston says it wasn't that bad. He had to fix the obvious body damage and replace the airbags. Winston spent about $9,000 on parts and $1,000 on taxes, so the total cost for the Model 3 was just $25,000, plus about 3 months of his time and hard work. There were major issues he didn't expect, such as having to replace the entire dashboard for the new airbag. Winston learned a ton and has been a fan of YouTube channels like Rich Rebuilds for years now. He hopes to work for Tesla Service, and he's already applied. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. Shocking Tesla Sentry Mode video shows man allegedly setting Model S on fire. A Tesla Sentry Mode video has helped a Model S owner get authorities on his side following a shocking incident involving a man, some gas cans, and one extremely burned electric car. The incident resulted in a Tesla Model S being set on fire. Jr. Harrison noted that he was visiting a friend in Spokane, Washington, when he found his car ablaze. As could be seen in the vehicle's Sentry Mode video, a man walked up to the all-electric sedan with what appeared to be 2 cans of gas. The man then poured the liquid into the Tesla, and a few seconds later, the car was engulfed in flames. I can't fathom myself wanting to set fire to anything for any political reason, whatever. I don't get it, Harrison told local news outlet KREM2. Harrison noted that he was extremely disappointed about the incident. He stated that he had only owned the Tesla for just over a year, and that the vehicle was his dream car. To add insult to injury, a motive for the incident has not been reported as of yet. What's more, the Model S owner shared that the authorities only really helped when they saw the Tesla Sentry Mode video. The lieutenant or sheriff, whoever they have to do a report, take pictures, he was trying to dismiss the thing like the battery exploding on itself or like it spontaneously combusting. And I was like, bro, there's no way. That doesn't happen. I showed him the video and he's like, oh, okay, it's arson, for sure. And then, they became a lot more helpful, Harrison said. But while Harrison is extremely disappointed about his vehicle's fate, he noted that he is at least hoping that the suspect will be found and held responsible. Hopefully, we can at least find the guy, right? Because if there's a guy walking around, just setting stuff on fire, come on, man, he needs to be taken off the streets sooner than later. Especially because I have friends in that area. And hopefully, he's not targeting more than just arson, but we don't know, he said. Source: reposted and summarized from Simon Alvarez at Teslarati. Tesla says that supercharger average uptime is near perfect 100%. The Tesla supercharging network maintained its near-perfect reliability in 2022, according to Tesla's most recent 2022 impact report. The company says that the average uptime of supercharger sites last year amounted to 99.95%, down marginally from 99.96% in 2021, but was higher than in 2018 to 2020. That sounds awesome, and Tesla entitled this part of its presentation "Chargers That Just Work." However, the key is the methodology. Tesla defines the uptime of supercharger sites as the average percentage of sites globally that had at least 50% daily capacity functional for the year. Uptime of supercharger sites reflects the average percentage of sites globally that had at least 50% of their daily capacity functional for the year. In other words, in 2022, on average, 99.95% of the stations had at least 50% daily capacity stalls, as we understand, fully functional for the year. Average uptime of supercharger sites. 2018, 99.94%. 2019, 99.90%. 2020, 99.74%. 2021, 99.86%. 2022, 99.95%. Well, we have all heard many times that the Tesla supercharging network is one of the most reliable, if not the most reliable, fast charging networks for all electric vehicles, but this metric is a little bit controversial. That's because if in theory, up to 49.9% of the stalls at each station were dead for the whole year, and the remaining 51.1% would be up for the whole year, then the equation would return a result of a perfect 100% reliability. Additionally, such a simple presentation does not really gives us an outlook into how many station stalls might be faulty. We can do some math to estimate the reliability. For example, assuming 5,000 stations around the world, Tesla was pretty close to that number as of the end of Q1 2023. One station offline for the entire year would result in 99.98% reliability. 3 down for the entire year would be 99.94% reliable. If we additionally assume that instead of 3 particular stations down for the whole year, there are 3 different stations down every day, then we must multiply it by 365. That's 1,095 stations on average, which had one day in a year with less than 50%, 49.9% daily capacity functional. This is still a great result because we are talking only about one day with less than 50% daily capacity at roughly 1/5 of the stations. Some stalls might be still available at those sites, while the rest of the stations would be running at more than 50% capacity. Example for 99.94 reliability and 5,000 stations. 3 stations offline below 50% daily capacity for the entire year. 4,997 stations. At least 50% daily capacity every day. 1,095 stations that were offline below 50% daily capacity one day in a year. 3,905 stations. At least 50% daily capacity every day. Other elements like power output or even the source of issues they might be external were not discussed. It will be very interesting to see whether Tesla will be able to maintain a high uptime ratio in the future. Considering the ongoing expansion of the network and increasing complexity due to the addition of the non-Tesla supercharging pilot. Various EVs, app for non-Tesla vehicles, built-in CCS1 adapter in North America. And a higher utilization, more Tesla EVs per station stall and additional non-Tesla EVs. Source: reposted and summarized from Mark Kane at Inside EVS.